For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link no time.
Hey, welcome back. This is Will Hardaway here with another brand reaction for you. This time we're diving into Commission's logo identity work for the brand Fenty. So if you don't know, Fenty is owned by Rihanna, the music star that's critically acclaimed. Every time she drops something, in my personal opinion, it is going to be fire. And I'm talking about, she's different than your traditional songstress, man. She gets real gully with it. I love her music. And so this would be a dream project to work with Rihanna on a brand like this. And so Commission got this opportunity, man. And so what we're looking at right now is the primary mark. What's interesting about fashion, man, is, for a lot of brands, the logo is really kind of like a backdrop. But in fashion, the logo itself can be a pattern. It can be the focal point of a piece. Like you could have a purse, man, and the purse is dang near minuscule compared to the size of the logo. You know what I'm saying? So that honestly comes from Dapper Dan. If you don't know who Dapper Dan is, do your research, do your Googling, because Dapper Dan is responsible for the craze called Logo Mania back in the 80s. Maybe even the 70s, maybe went to the 70s, but definitely the 80s and the early 90s, man. And so he took logos to a whole nother level, and all the big fashion houses followed suit after they kind of knocked him out of the game for stealing their work. And now he's working at Gucci in a prominent position, and all of these brands have pretty much acknowledged that, yeah, we were borrowing from his designs. So Fenty, man, is a brand that is owned by Rihanna. So this is what's interesting. Luxury brands are an interesting space, man. Their strategies are different. The way they approach the market is different. They're not marketing to the world as much as like you see Louis Vuitton and you see Ralph Lauren and all these types of brands. They are not really marketing to the world. I think Rolls-Royce, for instance, which is a luxury brand, they literally are targeting 85,000 people. That is their target market. And so it's just interesting to look at a luxury brand from the beginning, and this is one of them. Fenty is attempting to be a luxury brand. They're carrying a limited product. They don't even have a physical store location. They have really no plans to get into physical stores at the moment. They're doing everything from pop-up shops and online. So they have very limited selection of pieces, and once those pieces are gone, they're moving on to the next thing, like Jay-Z say, on to the next one. So I'm feeling the mark, man. I'm feeling the mark. I'm feeling the subtle changes that they made to the typeface. It's a sans serif typeface. I would have to really dive into looking at what typeface it is. It looks like one of the classics, but I don't want to say which one I think it is because I might be wrong. I just had to get this video out to y'all, man. So the interesting thing, like I was saying about fashion brands, man, is that the logo is the focal point. And so it's going to be used in all types of applications. And here you can see they're using it as a wraparound, which you could easily see this being on a strap or wrapping around a pocketbook or wrapping around a waistline. I think, though, that Tommy Hilfiger style of pants with the kind of elastic band and the logo going around the elastic band, that's coming back. I wouldn't be surprised if Fenty has something like that. So here, man, what the presentation of this logo identity is simple but effective. So you're seeing the logo. As a matter of fact, I worked on an athletic apparel brand, man, and I approached the presentation of it in the same way. What I ended up doing though was every other I would switch Fenty to over here on a card with a background for one of the brand colors, and then have a picture on this other side. But I like the subtle way that they took an image or maybe mocked up the logo sitting on a zipper. A lot of these luxury brands, man, they go the extremes. So either you're gonna see Fenty big as heck on the back of a jacket, or you're gonna see the F in Fenty or Fenty scrolled across the jacket 100 times, or you're gonna see something super subtle like the polo horse for Ralph Lauren, super tiny up on the chest piece, or right here you see a zipper with Fenty on it. So the great thing about mock-ups that are like, I'm not saying that this is a mock-up, but the cool thing about putting a logo on something small as a mock-up, if you're a designer, is that you can really just kind of Google image something and do that mock-up yourself. It's relatively easy to do in Illustrator or Photoshop, and it looks good. It looks amazing. It gives them a practical application for how the logo could be used. So that's what I love about smaller mock-ups, include like these glasses, for instance. You can definitely just Google something and do that mock-up yourself without having to spend a lot of money from a stock site. So yeah, man, these glasses are dope. They got the logo on them. And so you got to really pay attention to the client. The client in this case is a Black entrepreneur. She's a Black entrepreneur that has previously worked with a lot of luxury brands like Louis and Gucci and all of them. And now she's starting her own luxury brand. The thing about luxury brands in this space is, culturally, Black culture is really attached to these luxury brands. And so I can appreciate what Rihanna is trying to do here, start her own. And she knows that Black culture is attached to these types of brands. So obviously, in the scape of this brand, you're going to have a lot of photography of that culture, so that people can identify and see themselves interacting with the brand. So this mark is interesting. So this mark is a secondary mark. Usually if you have a logo type, like the type base mark that we saw at sans serif, and then you have another mark like this that's type based, but it can also serve as a geometric mark in itself. Usually that's the secondary mark. I haven't, like, aside from this first slide up here, and the band going across, I haven't seen exactly how they're going to use that application until they presented it down here. So I'm not sure what this is. Maybe a pair of the stem of some glasses or something, but they got a little application of it there. Then they have just an F and an application of that. There's a lot of versatility in how they set this up, so I'm not sure of all the ways they're going to use this, and I'm not sure if Fenty went with every one of these directions. I have had clients before, man, where I will show them 3 distinct logo marks and pieces that go with their brand, and they have a hard time deciding which one they want to go with. I have definitely experienced that before. One client in particular, man, we were pretty successful in integrating all 3 marks into that project. We did it in such a beautiful, elegant way. So that was kind of dope. But otherwise, man, you kind of got to see if you can bash something together and give them what they appreciate in some of the other marks into their current mark, or you got to have them make a decision because the marks are so distinct and just say different things about the brand. So you can see here where they're starting to get into the brand itself. So they're talking about just the client and how big the client is. Rihanna is huge, you know what I'm saying? And so they've worked with a lot of luxury brands. Commission Studio has. And so they're just talking about how going into this project they had that with them, uh, but this was a different endeavor. This is kind of like a startup for a luxury brand, which is hard to come by. Luxury brands don't just start every day. Luxury brands have often, most of the time, have been around for such a long time. Um, and so I think the approach that they're saying they took with the monograms and the different marks, the maze inspiration for the primary logo mark, it's just talking about including every letter in the brand, being able to be used as a QR code, uh, reminiscent of electronic circuitry, reminiscent of Greek key or maze. And so these are all just elements and rationale behind why they made the decisions they made that they probably presented to Rihanna and her team. And so obviously they liked it, man. I'm not completely sold on all these different marks and applications, especially right now. But as a brand grows, you can kind of grow into some different iterations of things. And so I do appreciate them spelling out the versatility of it. It'll remain to be seen what they actually use practically for the Fenty brand, man. But I like the presentation. I think it's dope. I think it's representing culture. I think it probably looks the way that Rihanna wants it to look. I think it does look luxury. You opened up with the leather and the gold. So this was cool for me to do. This is definitely a direction where I want to take my firm, is to do more luxury brand identity systems. So this was a dope one to do, man.
For
I
the
hope
record,
y'all
I'm done
enjoyed
trying to
it.
make y'all comfortable.
I'll catch y'all later.
For the
Already.
record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you.